Hello everybody, looking at it snowing, it's like we're in the city of Chicago. It's like ER in the 1990s, that which was the most watched show in the world, America.
But we've got even better, George. Forget your Clooney's, we've got Massey, the absolute master of the arts of the documentary making. So let us do this, let us film. You can do it all, George can do it all. Give him a camera.
Documentary, film, book, song,
matter.
whatever it is.
It's
just gonna roll, it's gonna carry on, it's gonna be like a snowball turning into an entire avalanche of words, of knowledge, of charisma, of fun, all sorts. It's all gonna happen, and it's gonna happen right here on this bench. Now,
Gay guys.
You guys, get over here. We only want gay guys watching this video. No one else. Straight people not allowed. This is a time of progressiveness. You straight people have had your time. You've had your day. You're not allowed anyone. No, gay people only. YouTube is for no one but homosexuals. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, join us.
Anyone else not welcome. Including gay women, you can have your time next week. Now it's gay men only.
This is it. If you're not, switch off right now, okay? That's it.
Unless you're a gay woman who wants to be a gay man, then it's okay. Then you're allowed to watch. Which means we're not actually allowed to be on this bench, but that's all right.
Well, speak for yourself, George. Speak for yourself. I definitely should be on this bench.
Technically, I am what you would call
a
lesbian on the inside. Meaning I like women. Does that make sense?
Okay, George. I don't know.
Well, that's one way to fit in, isn't it?
And I'm glad you brought that up, George, because I think we should talk a little bit about pigeonholing. I think we should talk a little bit about people being placed in boxes. Again, back to this whole thing about being placed in a box. And I think it's really interesting how, as a species, as humans, we love to categorize. We love to put people in boxes, be that gay, be it straight, lesbian, black, white, whatever. And it's interesting how our culture is obsessed with categorizing. Why do you think we do that, George? What do you think is behind that?
I thought the same thing just this morning.
I'll
tell you why, because I was on the train, right? Okay. And on the train, I saw a sign, and the sign said something about Black History or Black History Month.
Okay.
Now, I understand it is relevant to teach history in general, especially if it is beneficial for togetherness and all that sort of stuff. But I was thinking, Black history is history. It's still history. Like, I'm not saying it's history like it's gone. I mean, history is history. Whether it's Black history, white history, Asian, it's history.
It's history.
Like, and if you try and put it into its own box, it's already sort of racist. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no,
that's your history.
That's not part of our.
You're not part of our history. That's your history.
You stay on that side.
And we're going to give you a whole month.
Yeah.
Lucky you. You got a whole month.
Exactly, yeah.
Is it patronising?
Black History Month. It's like,
you can sum the whole thing up in a month.
Back of the bus, right?
Yeah.
That's your part of the bus, and that's your part of history.
We'll take the rest of the year. All right, you take 1 month. We'll take the other.
It's ridiculous, yeah. So I was thinking already that is like the complete opposite of what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be racist. Like, that's fucking racist, isn't it? Black History Month. All right, yeah. We'll talk a little bit about like the emancipation in school. We'll give you a chapter in the book, and then we'll get back onto like
the serious
every
stuff,
the 8th,
the important stuff. Yeah.
Big fat white bloke on his throne. Yeah, that's what we want to hear about. Anyway,
I think that's a very interesting point, and I think it's probably done from a good place. Essentially, because it's under. Maybe we're not talking about enough. But then at the same time, by you then labeling it as, this is your month and all the rest of it, it's a little bit patronising, in my opinion, a little bit belittling, because at the same time, it's such a huge history. It should be spoken about.
But let's not create another fucking siege, because
let's create another controversy.
We don't know who decides. Maybe
who decides this.
Maybe it's a black guy who said he wanted Black History Month. Maybe it was white people who felt embarrassed. I don't know. I just thought
the latter.
I just thought history is history. Whether it's anything or anybody, it's human history. It's human history.
Let's talk about history.
Have you noticed?
Let's learn. Let's understand. I love history. It makes me think about a movie called Django Unchained.
You can't always love history, because history is a fucking horrible place.
Quentin Tarantino in a movie called Django Unchained. I love it.
Never heard of him. Jamie Foxx, who's that? Actually, I like Jamie Foxx, especially in a film called Booty Call. Have you seen that film?
Booty Call.
I love that film.
Jamie Foxx.
Dr. Moore needs some help in obstetrics. She's having a baby.
Oh, well, it ain't mine.
It's even actually directed by the guy who, I think he created The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Really?
Yeah, it's just really funny. And for me, that is the funniest Jamie Foxx performance that I have personally seen. I love that movie. It's hilarious.
Guys, check out Booty Call.
Booty Call. Check it out, whether it's a movie or in your own life. Why not? Because you only live once. You might as well have at
Do
least
you?
one. Well, maybe not, but if you don't only live once, that's still technically just part of one, isn't it?
If you live more than once, do you remember previous lives? And that is a question that I have for you, George.
Well, I remember my previous life, don't you? I was
all of
swimming
them.
in the water. I was a fish. It was like Finding Nemo. I was going along the Gulf Stream. Blissful it was, bit cold. Colder
Bit
than this,
chilly?
actually, yeah.
What was the name of the fish? What was the name of you as the fish?
My name was Gerald.
Gerald. Gerald Seabass?
Thankfully, I found a nice shiny rock. It was like a mirror rock, so I was able to look at it, and I would do my hair in the morning. I'd wipe my fin along the back and think, I look good today. Yeah, it's nice. I'm ready to go out and meet the girls, I am, yeah. I'm gonna get over there to that like nice bit of coral, and we're gonna go for a dance. So it was good, yeah, it was a nice past life. I enjoyed it very much.
Sounds quite scenic. Quite.
I'd like to get back there, go for another swim.
Well, it's funny, talking about fish, there's a story in the news at the moment here in the UK that they've started renaming fish for the
Gerald?
Well, potentially. I mean, it's as good a name as any.
It is.
In order to appeal more to the British public, because certain names apparently are seen as being too harsh, being too perhaps aggressive or just...
They're offending people, I bet.
Offending.
Everything offends everyone nowadays. Oh my God, that fish, it's called sea bass. I don't like the name sea bass, it offends me because you see sea is very salty and I get offended by salt. I don't like the taste of salt. And bass sounds a little bit like bass, and I don't like bass because too much bass, it gets into my bones. My neighbours always put the bass too loud on their stereo, and my neighbour, he always puts the bass too high on his car. So sea bass is an offensive word. So we better change the name to Pauline. Let's call the fish Pauline. Is it something like
I find that more offensive, quite frankly, but
I used to go out with a girl called Pauline and she left me, so I don't like that name either. That offends me. Leave me alone, everybody.
I did have a neighbour, and yeah, I wasn't really feeling her vibe. So if a fish was called Pauline, it'd probably actually put me off buying it.
Did you really have a neighbour called Pauline?
I did.
Oh, really?
I did. And yeah, I wasn't a huge fan, actually. That's another issue. She loved labels.
But come on, there are lots of Paulines in the world. There's got to be a nice one. There's probably a Pauline watching this right now. And now she's offended because now you just said that one Pauline has given her a bad name. This is not fair. This is exactly the whole problem with the world. That's what racism is. It's saying, it's judging a whole race on the actions of a single person. We have to get rid of that. We have to embrace the Paulines of the world. All the fish of the world, all the sea bass. We have to love them and give them a wonderful hug. We have to say, come on fish, take my hand and yours, and let's go and let's swim and let's find the most glorious of islands.
Those memories of Pauline. I just don't think I'm ready, guys, to let it go. I think until I meet another Pauline who changes my views of Pauline.
All right, all equality is okay, but no Paulines. We've had enough of Paulines. We're done with you. You're done. No more. Finished. You're not allowed to watch this video either. If you're a Pauline and you're not homosexual, it's even worse. So what is the story about these fish? Why are they changing the names?
Because they just don't like the names. They don't roll off the tongue. They're not gentle. They're not sweet. They're not soft.
What are they called?
I don't know. But they're harsh. They're harsh names. Do you want me to look it up?
There you go.
Shall I look it up on camera? Shall I pull out my mobile
Pull out
device?
that disgusting, horrible, antisocial device which is designed for being social.
Fine.
Isn't that an irony? An irony that it's designed to bring us together, unite us, bind us, and yet all it really is a digital tapestry that gives you the illusion of togetherness. In actual fact, it is a singular illusion. It's like looking at a picture on a wall and saying, wouldn't it be nice to be inside that picture? But you're not actually inside it. Instead, your fingers are touching it, your hand is on the glass, but it never gets through it. You know why? Because it ain't Ready Player One yet, baby. Soon, if you've seen that film or read that book, we will be stepping inside it.
I was in it, but I haven't seen it.
You were in it?
Of course I was in it.
You got into the, what was it called? The grid, not the grid, that's Tron. Forgotten it. I've read the book and I've seen the film, and I can't remember what it's called. The Oasis, which is exactly what we're in right now. Look at this, the Oasis. Blissful, hot, sun, lovely, palm trees everywhere. And there's Gerald the fish on the beach. Hiya, Gerald. So
the spider crab and the Megrim
Well, that
sole.
offends me immediately.
You see?
Fucking hell. I mean, a crab already is a bit like a spider. It's got those legs. But you know, I sort of got used to the anatomy of a crab. And it's sort of like alien enough as it is. But if you put a spider and a crab together, oh my God, it's like a film from the 1950s about those aliens that are like, you know, on other planets, and the 50-foot spider crab. Dun, dun, dun. Pauline? Yeah, I don't like that at all. I'm offended.
You agree with the rebranding?
Call it Pauline.
Yeah.
No.
I prefer Spider Crab to Pauline. I'll be honest with you.
Spider Crab sounds like a.
I mean, you haven't met my neighbour.
Sounds like a Marvel comic that never made it. You know what I mean? Spider-Man, Spider Crab.
It does. It sounds like an anime that did make it and a Marvel comic that didn't make it.
Yeah. One of Stan Lee's that he left behind. Well, I've got an idea for a crab that gets bitten by a spider, and then it finds that it can spin webs.
But it is interesting, George. It is interesting how names, how labels create a different persona for something, and thus we are more likely to be accepting and understanding of something if we feel the name is attractive. It is of something that maybe a childhood memory.
So long as it's not Pauline.
Listen, just let that one go, because if I keep seeing her in my mind, and it's making me a little bit uncomfortable.
People get offended, you see. No, what you have to do is
you have
to meet another one.
I do, and I guess, you know, at that time in my life when I was just a child, I was a much more pliable, I was a very emotional child, I was a very sensitive child, and so her energy and her behaviour, I guess, affected me in a negative way. I like to think if I was to meet her now and she was to remain in that mindset, I'd have a lot more
give her a
compassion hug. and more, well, maybe not now because of the old thing that's happening. But
then even more reason to give her a hug. Now's the time to say to the people you don't like.
You see, George, if I were to give her a hug,
I
think she'd probably panic and have a heart attack, because she was a very fearful, anxious person. Which then makes me want to give her a hug more, actually, on some point.
You know what? On this topic, right?
Go on.
You triggered a thought in my head. I was watching something about Japanese people who cannot get out of the house.
Labels again.
Fucking hell, you call them Japanese now? Like, for fuck, they're just people. They're just people, right? They're just for fuck's sake.
We'll return after these messages.
I've been hearing these sounds coming from the basement.
They say it's the scariest book of all time. The only book that's alive. You've heard of books you can't put down. Well, this book will put you down.